Hi, I'm Beth Bradley, and today I want to talk about and train everybody on how to deal with a dog that's jumping. I want to go over jumping up on people, jumping up on you personally when you're letting the dog out of the crate or the kennel or whatever. I want to just do a little background about why dogs jump. When they're about 2.5, 3 weeks old, their puppy teeth start cutting. So the mother who is patiently lying down and feeding them is getting a little impatient because puppy teeth hurt. So she may come in and make her feeding sessions very short. And then leave right away. As the puppies get older, 3.5, 4 weeks old, more puppy teeth are coming. It's becoming more and more painful for the mom. So she may sit or even stand, and what the puppies do is, as soon as mom comes in, they jump up on her, and with their front feet, they push on the mammary glands to get the milk flowing so they can get a meal real quick before she leaves again. Now, usually in a wild dog environment, whether it be wolves or even some domestic dogs do this, when the mom leaves the pack or the older dogs leave the pack, when they come back to the litter, the puppies jump up and they lick their face. It's a lick of submission. It's a lick to say, hey, I'm hungry. So what happens is the older dog or the mother will regurgitate food at that point, and the pups get their first solid meals. So your puppies want to be near your face. Unfortunately, it's very cute when they're very, 8, 10, 12 weeks old, and the bigger they get, the more uncomfortable it becomes. I always say to all of my clients, you can get sued just as quick if your dog jumps up on somebody friendly and knocks them over and they break an arm or a hip as you can if your dog bites somebody. So it is a serious problem that you want to control as soon as your dog starts jumping up on people. From a young puppy. Think about how big they're going to be when they get older, and if that problem is going to be acceptable to you as they get older. If not, you want to nip the jumping in the bud right away. When we deal with jumping, you want to train it like you train sit, down, and heel. Train its own training session. Don't do it when you have 20 people coming over for a party, a birthday party or something. Train it individually with the dog, set them up. Have your spouse or your child call you when they're outside, say, hey, I'm on my way in. So this way you already have your training equipment on your dog and you're prepared to handle the situation. When you're having visitors over or when you're having company, the best thing to do with your dog is don't have them in the room. Have them in their crate, have them in the backyard. Once everybody comes in your home and it's quiet, you've all said your hellos, and the energy that was high because you're excited to see everybody is a little bit more calmed down, have your guests come in, sit down, bring the dog in on a collar and leash. It's a quieter atmosphere for the dog to enter in. They could say their hellos. It's going to be a lot easier to control the jumping than if your dog is with you greeting your guests at the door. So we're going to go over 3 different ways of controlling your dog from jumping. I'm going to show you what to do when your dog jumps up on you, how to control the dog if you don't have a collar and leash on them. Then I'm going to show you what to do when they jump up on other people, how you can control that. And we're going to hopefully do when they're jumping up on furniture and countertops. Okay, so if your dog is in a kennel or in a crate and you don't have a correction collar on the dog, what you want to do is you want to take your leash, put the buckle of the leash right through the handle. What I'm going to do is put a lasso over her neck. It's not a great correction, but it's when you have nothing to use, it's better than nothing. So let me grab Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Hi, good girl. Sandy. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
Yep.
Off. Good girl. Notice I give the correction and say the command, and I step backwards at the same time. Sandy. Now I don't encourage you to encourage your dog like this, but Sammy, I don't know if it's the heat. Hi, Sandy. Good girl. Good girl. Good. And you're standing up perfect straight. Off, and I step backwards. Good girl. Good. Sandy. Come here. Hey, Sandy. Off. Good girl. Awesome. Off. Good. Okay, so with the training collar I'm going to use a prong or a pinch collar. When you place these collars on the dog, you want to make sure you're attaching the leash to the swivel link. The round link is that ring, that's what keeps the collar from tightening or choking the dog. When you place the collar on your dog, you're going to grab a link down here, and you're going to disassemble the collar. When you place it around your dog's neck, it should go around like a necklace, and then you're going to clasp it back in around the dog's neck. It should fit fairly high on your dog's neck, but it doesn't have to be too snug. You should be able to slide your hand underneath. Come here, Sandy. Sandy, come. So I'm going to put it around her neck. I'm going to attach it back on. Take my leash. Attach it. Now this is Sandy's first introduction to the prong of the pinch collar. The correction is going to be a jerk and release type of correction. So it's going to be a very quick correction. It's not going to be a correction that should fling her off of her feet at all. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you what to do if she goes to step up on somebody else or jump up on somebody else. Okay, so your collar's on your dog, your leash is on your dog, you're holding it appropriately. When the person approaches, now again, the person should not approach being very excited. They should just approach casual, almost aloof to the dog. It's a lot easier for the dog to come down. Debbie might have to act a little bit excited here just to encourage the dog to jump up. Debbie?
Hey, Sandy, hi, good looking. Hi.
Off. Good girl. She sits. The person should give her affection at that point when she sits. So Deb, if you come back out again. Now, I'm going to give the command before she jumps. Hopefully we can not have to correct Sandy.
Hey, sweetheart. Hi.
Off.
What a good girl.
Good girl.
Good girl.
Very nice. Okay, come in a little bit more excited this time, Deb.
Yay, hi, Sandy. Hello.
Good girl. She thought about it, so obviously it's still in her head to jump up. Now, if you're embarrassed and you don't want to correct her, or you're in a park setting, or you don't want to have to correct your dog in front of people you don't necessarily know, but they're going to want to say hello. What you want to do is you want to take your leash and you're just going to step on it. So there's not tension, but it's not real loose where if she goes to jump, she can jump up on the person. And she'll basically self-correct at this point. Debbie, can you approach again?
Hey, Sandy. Hi. Hey. What a good girl. Good.
And she's kind of forced to stay down here.
Good.
And then she can get immediate affection at that point. Good girl. I'm going to have Debbie try that again. Good girl, Sandy.
Hey, Sandy. Woo-hoo. Hi. Good girl.
And you see a little tension on the leash is creating the idea in her head that she should stay on the ground. Good girl. Good girl, Sandy. Now what I want to do is we're going to show you jumping up on furniture and countertops. Okay, so if your dog jumps up on the furniture when you go to sit on it, what you're going to do is you're going to have the collar again and the leash already on your dog. You're going to sit down on the leash. Hi, Sandy. Off. And if her front feet stay on it, I'm going to stand up and get her off. Good girl, Sandy. Good. Good girl. Now she's maintaining all 4 feet on the ground, which is beautiful. I'm going to pet her. Good girl. Good. Stop petting her. Off. Good. Good girl. Again, notice it's when I stop petting her, that's when she wants to jump up. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Good. Perfect. That's exactly what you want. Good girl. So now what we're going to do is I want to train Sandy to not jump up on the countertops for food. When you're training this, again, the collar and leash should be on them. You're going to give your dog a treat that the dog likes. Good girl. Okay, get her a little bit more focused on the treat. Sandy. Good girl. And then I'm going to take the treat and I'm going to put it right up on top of the counter. You can even, if it's big enough, have it Just kind of stand off the counter just a little bit, part of it. Good girl. She sees it's there, but what's going on here is we've done a lot of the jumping with her, so she's learned that she shouldn't be jumping up on the counter. So if you've done this at home and your dog does the exact same thing, ignores the jump, what you want to do is reward them for it by verbal praise, and you can even give them a treat, but don't give them the treat from the counter. So what I'll do is I'll go into my pocket, I'll take out a treat, she gets a treat that's out of my pocket. So this way she's never getting a reward from anything on the counter. For a dog that won't do it, won't jump up on the counter in front of you, what you can do is take tin foil and take 3 strips of double-sided tape. So you put the tin foil on the counter, 3 strips of double-sided tape, take some old cans, old soda cans that no longer have soda in them, place some coins in it, duct tape over the top so the coins don't fall out, put the cans on top of the tin foil. The dog jumps up on the counter, the tape sticks to their paws, the cans go flying, it makes a big loud noise, the dog realizes, oh, I've been caught, I'm going to get in trouble for this, and they'll stay off the counter. Make sure your food reward is behind the tin foil though, so this way they're not self-rewarded by jumping up. The problem with stealing food off the countertops is if your dog jumps up on the countertop and is able to get a cookie, or able to get the bread or the roast beef for dinner or whatever that is up on the counter, even though you may correct your dog is getting the reward, so they're self-rewarding. So they're definitely always going to want to jump up on there. Some dogs are bad chow hounds, they're always looking for food. Other dogs don't. So if your dog is that way, you want to make sure puppy-proof the house, puppy-proof your counters. Everything out of the way. If you get it from the dinner table, put your food away so the dog can't get to it. If you can stop them from jumping for 128 days, break that habit for 128 days, most dogs don't go back to it. But in reality, if they can smell the steak defrosting, steak or kibble, they're smart, they can smell it going on up there, so they're going to want to jump up and self-reward. So you want to just be smart about it and be one step ahead of your dog at all times.